to all the dispossessed youth of Africa, for perpetuation of communion with ancestral spirits through the fight for African freedom, and in the firm faith that the dead, the living, and the unborn will unite to build the destroyed shrines. Selah. Hello and welcome, beloveds, to another episode of Wake Up Africa. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into your own narrative, your own story, because it looks like they're creating stories everywhere, beloveds. Like, I hope this is a confirmation of just how important the narrative is and how the narrative is at the center of life, beloveds. And right now, mainstream media in the West is going crazy. Whenever they highlight a story, it's not just like that. And I found, like, seriously, Babylon is like that oil skin, what is it? The oil skin, the snake oil salesman or whatever, like selling you something that doesn't even exist. And they always put it in such flowery language where you think it's the best thing that could ever happen, the best thing since pizza was invented, or whatever you want to, however you want to put it. And I'm talking about how Disneyland is now developing planned communities for fans who never want to leave their world. Like communities where Mickey Mouse will be there, where Cinderella will be there, like living like a normal life, where Sleeping Beauty will be there. I mean, this is insane. And people in costumes of freaking dragons and fairies and everything. And this, this came out over the weekend, and it's become big news. Like, it was being covered by so many, all of mainstream media have highlighted this. So the thing is, we have to ask ourselves, why are they highlighting this? And this is a bit scary, beloveds. This is crazy where they're taking people. And they're saying they're going to have a community for like older people where they can retire, and then basically like for young families where your children can grow up in like where there'll be magic on the streets. Like, this is so insane. And that's why, beloveds, it's like, you see, they've made reality so uncomfortable for many. They've made reality, like, people can't, first of all, they robbed people of reality by creating this whole Babylon system where people had to have jobs. You now became a wage slave. People have always been one kind of slave or another. And it's like now we're moving from wage slave to soul slave. But they robbed people of reality where people became disconnected from reality. You could only, you were only off on Sundays, or you were only off on the weekends, and your interaction with nature was so limited that it became something rare. And then now they invented the thing of the holidays, where the whole year you're looking forward to these 3 weeks where you'll be able to go to have this beach experience or this Disney World experience or whatever. But most people now became used to living in a box, like literally in a prison, beloveds. On these like hamster wheels where you wake up, you go to work, you come back, you eat, you sleep, and so you became withdrawn from reality. And we saw that at its extreme when everyone was locked down. It's like that was such a game changer for the narrative, because now is when they're now rolling out this. I think they even want to have cities in the sky, hotels in the sky. Now Disney wants you to, be in their community. And it's funny because I've seen a few, there's been a lot of different comments where people are like, what happens when you want to leave? Like, this is sounding more like Hunger Game communities. You voluntarily go there, but you can never leave. Like, and what's going on, beloveds? What are they seeing that they're not telling you? Why are they pushing this as the next big thing, as some kind of marketing gimmick? I always think it's twofold. Like, they know there's something major is on its way. It's literally on its way, beloveds. And there will be some human kind who literally won't be able to go out into the real world anymore. And I wouldn't be surprised if in the end these Disney communities even had like oxygen bubbles over them to keep the people alive. So you can't, if you leave, you don't have that oxygen, so you can't, like, something is coming. But they're also pulling people more and more out of their reality because they've made people's reality so dull, so monotonous, so boring that people will just find it great. But I really want to say to my son people, this is not for us. This is not for us, beloveds. We don't have to be a part of this. We get to live in the real world. We are strong enough to go through the transition that nature is going to push us through. We only become weak when we are attached to the Babylon system and this kind of nonsense, this kind of craziness. Like, we need to be mentally intact. It doesn't matter what situation you're in, whether you're homeless right now, whether you can't make ends meet, whether you're this, like, all you need to secure your mind. Secure your mind in this time and don't fall for these kind of, smoke and mirror tactics of Babylon. Because even in hell, they want to still siphon your energy. And you see, it's like, because they've made real life so dull, people want to escape their lives. You remember, Babylon is all about problem, reaction, solution. They create the problem, so people can't be out in nature, people can't live their best lives, people have no fun, everything is dull and dreary, people are stuck in these, small apartments or whatever situation people are living in. So they react, there's anxiety, like mental health and mental illness is at an all-time high. People are out of balance. And then now they're offering the solutions of like the metaverse. I mean, Disney has already bought land in the metaverse. They're already building their things in the metaverse, in this virtual world. But now they even want to build communities. And it seems all wonderful and fun now. But beloveds, where is this going? This is crazy. And why would you want your children to grow up in a fake cartoon fantasy world? I mean, you do know that Disney is heavy MK Ultra, right? That they're not a child's best friend. They don't fulfill a child's greatest fantasy. I mean, you know that, right? Look at all the damage that has been done to these Disney stars like Britney Spears and things like that. What does that look like? She was a star in Disney. But beloveds, please keep your children out of these things, out of these fake worlds. Everything all the magic that they say they can do, the fairies, the dragons, that's real, but you get to see it. Some of them, they can't see those things. They can only hear of those stories and then they try and create what is naturally a part of our world. And if they're working this hard to copy paste your reality, then don't you want to discover what your reality holds? Because all the magic has been done to desensitize you from the real magic inside of you, from the real magic around us in nature. But nature hides. You have to be at a certain vibe to really see nature, the beauty of nature. But they're going to such lengths to create the worlds that our ancestors used to talk about, that our ancestors lived in, which they made us feel was dull and barbaric, and there was no buildings, there was no modernity or whatever you want to call that word. There was no, they had to come and civilize us. But you need to be returning to nature, beloveds. That's where the true magic is. And I mean, a lot of this world is going to be inhabitable, so they need these communities for their people. But what you should be aware of is they're not building these communities for us. Unless we're going to go there as the cleaners, the maids, the actors, the ones who wear the Mickey Mouse costume all day. Like, even look at the metaverse where they've placed us. Excuse me, I've got hiccups now. This world is not being built for us. Like, we're being built to hold the same lowest position. And because of the disassociation that they've created in us, it's hard for us to come together right now when so many of us are just out of our minds, either in religious psychosis, all kinds of craziness. But it's happening spiritually. We're building that world spiritually. That's why focus on yourself, focus on your mind, and getting your mind back in your control. Focus on your spirituality. That's where your gift lies. It's all in here, beloveds. Don't worry about the shenanigans of what Babylon is doing. And eventually, you will start to see that world with your own two eyes. The one that Disney has worked and Marvel have worked so hard to create, of Supermans and superheroes and flying and fairies and dragons. Like, those things exist for real in our world as sun people. But they can't be seen by everybody. And you see, because we entered that world, we blinded ourselves to our own. So this is like the final frontier for these people, beloveds. Don't fall for it. It pales. Paling is not even a it's like death in comparison to the reality of true life. Tuko pamoja.